Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, wrestling fans, and sports entertainment fans, welcome to the No Shave Man Cave. I'm Ellie Jair.
I am Jay Tilly, and tonight we are joined by with undefeated MMA fighter, WWE AEW wrestler, and one of our personal favorite, longest reigning Lucha Underground champion, Jake Hager.
The longest reigning, defending, undisputed. Man, I love Lucha Underground. Like, you can't see, like...
You don't put that curse on me, Ricky Bobby. Okay, don't put that curse on me. All right. Just because I was champion when the show went off air doesn't
that
mean
wasn't
I
your
had
fault,
anything.
brother. That
No,
was not your fault.
They dropped the ball,
man.
Man.
They have a like, we love Lucha Underground. We've always loved it, and it comes up in every one of our shows we talk about. Somehow it gets worked in. So I'm like, I'm just gonna work it into his intro.
So like our my favorite title is the Gift of the Gods title. So
I was gonna say that one's really cool.
Yeah. So we ended up making that this year's No Shave Man Cave title. And breaking news, you have a title on the way for you, being made by the guy who makes our titles, to be gifted to you from the fam.
Yep.
That will be yours to take and just bestow, or I'm sure you've got 1,000 titles everywhere, and if you don't mind. What? Well, we've got to make all of them then, I guess. But so we will. I'm having 2 titles made. One,
take it all off
for you, and then the second one, if we can get your autograph, and then we'll get some other Lucha Underground wrestlers to sign it, and then donate it or raffle it, and give it in honor of whatever. So pumped. It just got pressed. We were talking, Jay Tilly and I, we were talking earlier, just got pressed today. We'll get put on leather here soon, and I can't wait to roll it out, and we can bring it to you, or we can figure out where we're going to meet up. So
well, I'm sure we're going to get together and have some bourbon, but thank you so much. What an incredible gift. I can see it right now. I want a big picture of Sammy Guevara doing the backflip off of the 2-story high safety railing on top of me, and I saved his life.
There you go.
That was me.
That was a hell of a spot.
I love Lucha Underground. I love the vibe. Really, for me, the best part of Lucha Underground was the arena. It really helped you suspend disbelief. Like, you felt like you were in Bloodsport. It felt like you were Jean-Claude Van Damme in that tournament, like really fighting for your life. And you had all these magical things that were like accepted. So I really think that whoever owned that, I can't remember exactly. I know Netflix had it for a little bit, but then Telemundo had it for also a little bit, and they were kind of clashing on what to do with it. But so cool. You think of the names that come out of there.
And then Rodriguez, El Rey, and then
producer
Rodriguez.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't let go, and I was like, man, how do I? And I'm just a dude getting paid by the hour, so it's like, man, I can't even pay attention, and man, that's crazy. It's so much, just a great. And if you look at where Lucha Underground started, and I've been to Tulum and all over Mexico and stuff, and I like to go into and I figure out where we're going, and I bring different shirts based on where we're going whenever we travel, and I travel a lot. And I get off the bus one day and I hear Lucha. I was like, what? And I was in Tulum, and I turn around and I look at these guys, and I'm like, and I look at them, and they're like, Lucha. And I go, Lucha. And they go, is life. And I was like, damn. And it was sick. So huge Lucha Underground fan, and I am fanning out and totally pumped to have you here in the man cave. And dude, fucking
yeah, yo, season 4, the season I was on, the roster was stacked.
Yes.
Stacked.
Yeah.
Swerve Strickland, Penta, Sammy
Yep.
Guevara, Johnny Lucha.
Yep.
Man, so many more
Prince
people.
Puma was still there, I think, right? Ricochet,
Yep.
I think, yeah.
Oh,
Prince Puma.
Oh my
That's what
Thunder
made me
Rosa,
get my chest tattoo.
Jeff Cobbs.
Right
Jeff Cobb, yep.
oh,
Yeah.
geez, the world TV champion over there in New Japan.
Yep.
You know, my favorite Lucha wrestler was Reclusa. She was my favorite.
I'm drawing a blank.
Reclusa, you see what he did?
Chelsea Green.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. She came out the other day
With
with
a Lucha
the
mask on.
Yeah, and then Matt Cardona was on his gram rocking the same mask, and I was like, looks familiar.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was a joke, by the way. She's not my favorite Lucha.
No, yeah.
Of course not.
No,
It's
I'm
Big Dick Johnson.
Just for the name.
Yeah.
Hey, sell some merch.
Yep. So, you talked about the arena with Lucha Underground. How did that compare with Daly's Place with you guys? And I guess after lockdown, I can understand lockdown being weird, but when we finally opened up, we're able to come to Daly's Place. Was that kind of the same vibe? Because me as a fan, I went to all the Daly Place shows, and it was such an intimate feeling crowd. Same people you see all the time, and then like just the interaction with the wrestlers and the fans was really cool. So I was just curious because in my head, that's what I figured Lucha Underground was kind of like. I never got to go, but I was just curious. Since you brought that up, I'm like, I wonder what the comparison was.
So for me, wrestling shows are all about a couple of things. One, the venue. Two, the crowd intensity, because the crowds are definitely, the audience is a part of wrestling. You saw that during the pandemic, how it's a different show when we don't have you guys involved to be a character. The crowd is a character on our show. And then 3, the storylines. Everything's about characters, vulnerability, and what's going to happen. And I think that's very true with professional sports as well. Like college wrestling, the smaller the venue, usually the better and more intense it was. And Daly's Place was one of my favorite venues ever to work at. I've worked all over the world, but like I just think it's a great wrestling venue. Of course, there's added bias to it because of everything that we were going through. And like when the crowd finally came back, I can remember standing on the stage, having a tear in my eye. Like I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, trying to look tough. But like, I'm so happy that that shit is kind of getting back to normal.
Yeah.
So, I think it's really cool when Daly's Place does the seats up above and you have the entrance on the right and go down the side. But it's just because like it's stacked on top of each other and all the sounds coming down. I'm always gonna hold it very dear to my heart because the Stampede matches and the Inner Circle work and the JS work, some of my favorite in my career. So that place is really cool. And it's different from the Lucha Underground arena because I feel like the Lucha Hey, I'm a professional. Did you see that catch?
Wow, we haven't even started talking about bourbon yet.
Yeah.
I
I got big feet. I didn't like my camera angle, so I just wanted to change it without hands.
I like that. You gotta keep us guessing.
I just felt like Lucha Underground was more of kind of science fiction and kind of had that more like a different type of element to it than regular professional wrestling. And I really enjoyed that part about it, where Daly's Place was just like a really cool place to have live events.
That makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely agree with Lucha. It was definitely a completely different style of pro wrestling for sure.
Absolutely. Like it kind of throw back to the ECW days where you didn't know what was going to happen. They were going to jump off anything type deal. Shout out Sammy Guevara. Jesus.
That guy's insane.
That guy, Yeah, and you and Helico would lay out for some of the most ridiculous stuff. The sort of the christening or the birth of Phoenix or Phoenix, just seeing them come into their own, and then I've gone back and I've started watching, and I'm just like, holy cow! Like, I can't believe we were watching some of the most like influential wrestlers now.
Yep.
Coming up through.
What was Penta's name in Lucha?
Penta Zero Mero. In Lucha, it was Pentagon Jr. Lucha Underground, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Pentagon Jr.
Okay.
Or Dark Pentagon for a while there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was he the chairman or
I don't remember
something with the arm because
he used to break everybody's arms.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. So, so Jay Tilly and I, we were able to hook up with you at.
Don't make it weird.
Not hook up as in hook up, but we met up and we were in Jacksonville watching the action in the Trigon, and one of my guys right there out of St. Augustine, you're very welcome, Isaiah Washington, pulled out the victory. Unfortunately, I had to leave a little bit early.
You missed the last two fights.
Man, dude, you were repping hard. Our guy Jake was out there, just totally representing total just awesomeness. And I missed the tail end of it, but awesome to see what was going on there in Jacksonville with the BYB.
Wasn't that such a cool experience?
It was like amazing.
So much
talking
fun.
About an intimate venue and experience is another way.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Like the first fight I went to, I kind of sat in like the VIP section, and then this fight, I sat in the crowd where I'm like with the fighters' families, and you really feel the emotion. You feel how much victory means every single fight. So shout out to BYB Backyard Brawl Extreme, really expanding and creating a great promotion and a place for fighters to make some money, and really like it was so entertaining. It was so entertaining. A lot of them, like the heavyweight fight, they went to war. They absolute war. Maybe it was light heavyweight, the bald guy versus the Latino guy, and it was just like no one was given an inch, and it was just cool to be with their families and their friends and just be like immersed in that emotion. So it was a great time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We took Edie.
Yeah, thanks for bringing us in.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
We took Edie, and we walk in, and she goes, "So she's like, who do we?" Yeah, she's not here, but I'll tell her you said hi. She's like, "So do they know who's going to win?" I'm like, "No, they don't know who's going to win." She's like, "Wait, so this isn't like pro wrestling?" I'm like, "No, baby, this is real fight." She goes, "Okay, this will be all right." And then like the first fight, she's like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "Yeah." And then that fight you were talking about with the I can't think of his name either, the bald guy, just all like his nose was gone. He had this huge lump on his head. I got pictures of her just going, "Oh my gosh!" She loved it. She just drove down to Miami with my sister. Well, she rode. My sister drove down to Miami because they're spending the week down there. And she said she put on BYB and watched all the YouTube fights on the way down there.
Hey.
She's like, "This is so great." So,
can you imagine if someone ducked a clothesline in the Trigon and then came off the ropes with just like a
just a nice little elbow strike or something?
ESPN top 10 instant.
Yep.
Instant.
BYB fighters, look for that duck the ropes, hit the ropes.
Yeah. I'm still a little confused on some of the rules though, because I'm like, are they allowed to grapple or not allowed to grapple? Because they would grapple, you'd steal a couple rabbit punches, then other fights they'd grapple and they'd break them apart.
So
I'm like,
they call it drunk boxing. So it's all boxing. You can't grapple, but there is inside control, and like they call it drunk boxing technically, where you can like swerve the guy around a little bit. And you kind of see that you kind of see the style where like it's defense, and then if you get a shot in, you got to attack there, and they swarm, and either the guy could get out of there or they finish them, because with the kittens without the mittens is a whole different fight.
That first punch, I think in the first fight, I heard it and I was like, he didn't slap his thigh, did he? What was that? I was like, holy cow, he just nailed him.
Yeah.
So I go walking over to the bar. So I've been dealing with a hip situation.
Yeah, you have.
I go walking over.
At his age, they break easy.
So I go walking over. I'm like, hey, I grab a drink, and it's got it's this like icy situation, and you can't drink an icy without getting a frozen headache or whatever. So I'm like, shit, I'm gonna go over to the bar, and so there's two of the two of the performers
fighters. They're real fighters. Yeah.
And they're completely tatted up. And I was expecting way more tats in the situation, but it was like Jay Tilly, myself, and like one other dude who was walking around carrying a baby. So now I'm standing next to two women who are completely tatted and their necks are tatted. And I was like, wow. She's like, hey, how you doing? I was like, oh, I'm good. Click, click, click. I'm like, what's happening? And they're flanking me. They're taking photos. I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on here. It's whatever. So I go walking toward, or she says, hey, says, hey, we're going to go to the bar. I was like, yeah, of course we're going to go to the bar. I'm like, man, I feel like we're watching,
I wonder if he knows it came unmuted.
Boy, that was some good peeing.
He's got his microphone on.
Hot mic.
Naked Gun 3 1/3. So we're standing there, and she goes, hey, are you going to the bar? I'm like, well, do I look like I wouldn't go to the bar? And she's like, no. She starts walking. I'm like, well, that meant completely nothing. So I go walking over. I get a drink, and my hip is completely bumping, and I'm thinking, well, hopefully I'll get a drink, to take the edge off. And as I get over to the bar, it's as the women's match is ending. And that women's match, man, that was the best match that I saw in the evening. And they were dropping bombs on each other. And kudos to both of them and the entire promotion. Great event, great venue. It was big enough to fill enough people, but it was intimate enough to, send a message like, hey, we're here and we're kicking some ass. So it was awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. Shout out to Summer Rae, Danielle Monet. She's the one that hooked us all up with those tickets.
Oh, cool.
She's the new host for them, and she's a great fit. And that company is a good company. You can just tell by meeting the people that work there. It's like a family, and they're growing. They just bought a bare knuckle promotion in UK, so they're going there this summer. And it's just kind of cool because, like, okay, so boxing was the reign supreme for 70 80 years, and then 2000s 90s here comes MMA, and it kind of uprooted a little bit. And now bare knuckle is kind of uprooting MMA in the same way that it did boxing, and it's gonna be cool to see the evolution of it all. But
you
so much fun.
The slap fighting, isn't that in there too?
That's only with your ex-wife, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when we used to get really mad. No.
You son of a bitch.
That's just Jared when he has too much to drink. You stop it.
Hi.
Oh man, lost my train of thought. Yeah.
No Diddy right there. Too soon.
So I did mention that the bourbon talk is a joke, but I hear you are a bourbon enjoyer. Do you?
Oh yeah.
Do you have a specific one that you like the most?
Well, for some reason, I grew up on Crown Royal. That was that might be a whiskey. I'm not sure if it's a bourbon or a whiskey, but that was the brown that we would keep in the freezer, and then we would drink.
I've got some in mine now.
Yep. and then we would have beers, have fun playing cards, whatnot. And then, our saying was, you got to kiss it before you put it in. So we would just drink straight from the bottle.
Wow. All right.
I mean,
and that saying goes along for a lot of things, gentlemen.
That feels like a tattoo. I've got bare hands that I'm getting ready to get done up.
Now you know what you can put on them.
Can never be too safe.
Very nice. Yeah, I've got some Crown in my freezer right now, actually. I got some apples, some peach, and some. Well, I don't want to run downstairs and get it, but yeah, it's down at the. Yeah. Up here, I have some Colonel Taylor's, and I don't know what else is.
You have Colonel Taylor just sitting up.
Yeah, up here in my office.
The next show you film, I want a bottle of Crown behind one of your action figures that you can just move the action figure, pull it out.
It'll be like a little tribute for you. I'll put it. I'll throw it up here somewhere.
Yeah, put up my action figure one.
Yeah, I don't have a signed one of yours. Most of these are all signed, so I need to get a signed one, and I'll throw it up there.
We got to work that out. Yeah. So we're Jay Tilly and we've been working on.
Now it's stressing me out. I'm looking for his so I can prove I have one.
I'm kidding. I'm sure you care.
Do. But we've been talking about getting a virtual bourbon show together, and we did one in the past with one of our fellow shows on one of the other networks we were on, and definitely will include a one of the crowns of one of the crown flavors. Yep. So looking forward to sending that out.
Flavors. I thought this was a bourbon show. You're gonna add apple and peach flavors to that shit. What the hell?
I do have apple and
show
peach
is this?
in my. But those are for my wife.
Okay.
I have regular Crown. And some.
I don't think this is the bourbon show for me because I'm from.
So did you or did you not reflect on the affinity that you had toward Crown? And I was like, okay, well, we'll embrace that. And now I'm over here getting thrown out of the ring.
I said Crown.
He drank straight Crown though.
I didn't say apple Crown or honey Crown.
He just likes the regular Crown.
Yeah,
the stuff that you and I would be like, it's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, look, he's busting on his bottle.
So
one of my new favorites is this one, and the riff. It is
looks like wine.
It's a single.
Show the label.
Yep.
It's a single malt.
There you go.
Or single barrel, small batch. Very, very tasty. Not like
Jake's down there directing. Slide it to the left a little.
This episode is brought to you by.
So it's
whoa.
It's got a really long neck.
Now you're making it weird again.
Hello. But if you hold it from the bottom, it's no, but it's yeah, there we go. No, but it's this one was pretty nice, and so we'll get a few shotties sent out to our peeps.
What is the name of that whiskey that you're talking about?
So this one is called New Riff Single Barrel. It's a Kentucky straight, and the proof is 109.
All right, so what's the difference between a bourbon and a whiskey and all the different and a rye and all that?
I'll let you go with that one.
So the rye, so the rye is the way it's finished, and then the bourbon versus whiskey is the barrel, and every bourbon has to be in a brand new barrel, and
most typically an oak barrel.
Yeah, and it's like different variations. And we did one where I'm trying to think of the last one. It was terrible.
I loved it.
It was from
it's Scottish.
You loved it, yeah.
It's Scottish. It was in a peat moss barrel.
Shit. And it's based on the wood and the barrel, and the flavor is based on the way the earth and everything that feeds the wood that goes into the barrel, just like how the tropics and the Pacific and all those other ones, when they're, they get sent out to get finished in the ocean. but the whiskeys and the bourbons that go off to like Ireland and stuff, and they have that peat finish, and it's like the peat moss, and I'm just like, ugh. And Jay Tilly's like, oh,
so
man,
good.
that's the heat.
It was really smoky, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But the main difference though is like most scotches and whiskeys are from a single type grain, whereas bourbon has to have at least 51% corn. So it's a different flavor.
Hey, I like corn. I like to recycle,
There you go. Clean
is.
it out, and yeah, we're good to go.
Yeah.
Boom.
But yeah, cool.
Well, so
go ahead.
So what do you got? What do you got cooking going on here in the next couple of months, Jake? For I know you've been auditioning. I know you've been showing out for some of the other fighting networks and stuff, and I know you're keeping busy. We just got to know, what are you up to, man?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Just keep moving forward and trying to find the next move. It's not always clear at times. Dealing with a lot, and then at the same time, I got great problems to solve. So just trying to stay positive and feel grateful for my kids and for my family and for the opportunities I have. And as you get older, it's harder for us to make friends because we're closed off. It's harder for us to find new opportunities because we're closed off. So I feel like I'm in a certain point in my life right now where I'm like, okay, this is my time to be really open, and my whole focus is trying to find what I love. And if you work, what's the line? If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Yep.
And so I want to do that, and then I also want to give back to the things that are very important to me, like our troops. I'm very blessed and grateful to be an American. Like I get teared up thinking about how grateful I am to live in a country where we have these rights and we have these freedoms, and I'm very afraid at the same time for my kids' futures because everything is changing, and it's definitely not the same America. And so like I want to move forward, and then at the same time I want to figure out what's happening like every other American at this time. So
yep,
it's a two-edged sword, but hey, all you can do is keep moving forward.
Yeah, you just keep going. That's the big thing.
How many times did I say keep moving forward on that? Like 40,
quite a bit. It was
42.
Good. Yeah,
14,
I'm gonna put a keep
14
going
times.
counter on the bottom for when I edit it out, and it'll take it away. Now
I'll get funnier phrases then if you're gonna do
that. We'll put that on our next shirt.
Yeah, we're gonna time how long your pee break was too, since you didn't mute your mic. So
well, I had a phone call, so I thought I was safe. I was like, see ya.
Yeah, because your screen went blank, and then everything went blank, and then it came back on. I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and mute this here.
And I was like, Naked Gun 33 and a third.
I had my headphones in. I could hear everything you guys were saying.
I'm gonna have to clear that one out when we go to post production here.
I mean, is this a bourbon show or what?
Yeah, there you go. Well, we haven't even had the bourbon yet.
Oh well, you're falling behind, brother.
I am. Yeah.
Hello.
I do have a glass up here and some. Yeah, but sweet. So, man, I totally lost train of. I was going to ask you a question, like a real interview, and I can't remember what it was.
This has been a great interview.
I got distracted. Oh, I know what it was going to be. So I know you did the MMA thing and the pro wrestling thing. Which was harder for like the training purposes? Like, I'm curious on like what your training regimen is going in, getting ready for Stadium Stampede or something like that versus, going into an MMA, fight, and how like training camp looks different, or if there's a different training camp, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So there's a lot of similarities and there's a lot of differences between pro wrestling and MMA. Pro wrestling is one of those sports where you have to learn an initial set of trades, like a set of skills. And then once you do that, you want to refine it and make it better. You want your selling up here. You want your attack up here. You want your power moves up here. You want your character up here. And so a lot of that isn't physical. A lot of that is just creativity and being in the moment and understanding what pro wrestling is. I feel like a big problem with pro wrestling today is everybody wants to be tough. They don't understand that this is entertainment. Like pro wrestling is about good versus evil. Pro wrestling is about being vulnerable. Pro wrestling is about characters. You can do all the flips and the moves you want, but they care about the character. So really in pro wrestling, the training is developing your character and your storylines. That's the hardest part about pro wrestling, especially with TV pro wrestling. MMA is a unbelievable grind. When I got into MMA, I only knew how to wrestle. I didn't know how to box. I didn't know how to kickbox. I didn't know jujitsu. I didn't know cage wrestling. And so I left WWE in 2017. And so for the next 17 months, 5 days a week, I'm doing boxing, kickboxing, jujitsu, wrestling. And then on the weekends to pay the bills, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going and wrestling independent shows. And then I'm flying back Sunday night and coming back Monday morning to start practicing. And that's just like what I had to do. But like, to be honest, I'll tell anybody this. I feel like it saved my soul. Like it burned the flesh off of it, like burned the fat off of it, not the flesh. Because like that's the person I am. And so like I went from an entertainment world where the best players don't play, the favorite players play. And so to be the favorite, you need a little help, but you also need a good character and you need good storylines. And that's something that you have to work on constantly backstage, which I was never good at. I was never good at politicking. It is what it is. You have to be good at that in order to be good in entertainment. It's just the way it is. And so like with MMA, the training gets so intense to where if you're not like 100% committed to it, if you're not like giving your all, if your back's not against the wall and you're fighting for your life, in practice, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt in the fight. And so you have to give that commitment, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, for a long time. And your body has to like overcome all that. Like there's times you get out of bed and you can't walk because you just like one kick just like was landed wrong in practice type deal. So it's cool to see the differences, but I'll tell you what, I knew that I could go into professional MMA because I had 9 years of live pro wrestling television experience. If you can wrestle live on television, you can do anything because it's always changing. And there's always that crowd there. Like I said, that is a part of the show. So you know they're going to be reacting. And it really gave me confidence to go out there and be like, I can do this. This is just a different dimension of it.
Awesome. Who would you say were like some of your biggest influences in pro wrestling? As far as like, I know like you trained with Dusty and all that, but like as far as like maybe that character development, that thing that kind of took you to that next level with, you know, We the People and all that, because that was obviously huge in the WWE time. So yeah, and then you know the JSA stuff, like just what you know, who helped you guys? Who helped you specifically with some of that stuff and get into that?
Yeah, I got certain people that I would say were big influences to me. Dirty Dutch Mantel, Zeb Coulter. I'll put working with him up there with winning a heavyweight championship every time. Wow. His experience, he has over 50 years of experience in the pro wrestling business, doing everything, talent, manager, booking, promoter. Like there isn't a job that he hasn't done in the business, and then there isn't a story about it where he came in and made a company more successful. Like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
They should bring him in right now, but I digress. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Mike Chioda, world famous referee, the referee of your childhood.
Referee, strong.
Like I can remember him just randomly like hopping in a car with me. He's like, "Okay, why you got a car loan? Why are you staying at this hotel loan? How can you afford that?" And then, "Okay, I'm riding with you." And I'm like, okay. And he's one of my best friends now. We were just in Jacksonville together.
Yeah, WrestleCon.
Yeah. One of my best friends, one of the best people in the world. And I can't tell you how many times that I went to Mike Chioda and like, "Hey, Mike, what should I do?" And just a great person, always helped me from the heart. Ron Killings, R-Truth, great person, phenomenal talent. Phenomenal talent.
He's a treasure.
Yeah.
So many miles on the road with him. I wish I could tell you stories about him driving and anyways, just a great guy.
We'll save that for a podcast down the road.
It wasn't bourbon in that leaf. But like for me, like I want to attribute a bunch of my success to the people that I've worked with. Tommy Dreamer, Matt Hardy,
or Dreamier.
Yeah, you know, he is very dreamy. Fit Finley, Christian, Edge, Chris Jericho, of course, brought me to AEW. Was the main reason I was there, and he said to Tony that I was his guy, and I'll never forget that. And I think what he's done in the last 5 years puts him very close, if not at the top of the mountain.
Oh, I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's one of those guys that can seem to reinvent himself right when you think he can't reinvent himself anymore.
Here's what
I might not always agree with some of the stuff he does, but I'm like, well, he switched it up on me.
Yeah, he's able to keep it moving.
Yep.
So I mean, he's booking cruises.
Yeah,
he's booking damn tours with his band.
Here's the thing that I like about him.
Oh, hey,
do you see Triple H putting over any new guys? Do you see Undertaker putting over any new guys? Do you see any top guys that have been in the business as long as Jericho putting over anybody? Did Sting put over anybody? No. He's trying to build. He understands it. And it drives me crazy that nobody talks about this. It's like, he's putting over these guys. He's putting the stamp on them. Did he make Orange Cassidy hot? I mean, come on. Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying I
Sammy
love mimosas because of that, but I love me some mimosas.
I wish I could have fallen into that pool.
For sure. For real.
I don't know.
One single drop would have been wasted.
Yeah, I'm biased, but I just think the fact that he is so unselfish with with building this company.
Yeah,
forget about it.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's not even any one company. I think it's just the industry in general to think, he marketed his book and they were like, "Yeah, I'm not interested." So he was like, "All right, bump that." So he booked. Yeah, he self-published his book, New York bestseller 2 times over.
It's a great book, great read. All of his books are great reads.
I mean, it's a strong read. Yeah, it's a very enjoyable read.
I'm embarrassed I haven't read them yet.
A little bit of the bubbly.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Yeah, yeah. Who? I mean, the other thing, like even now, his current thing with the really cheesy looking kid cartoony tree, and I'm like, who can get over that kind of nothingness? And here it's like, everybody made fun of it, but now they're chanting it, and people are talking about the learning tree and all this. I'm like, yeah,
the For the World title.
Yeah, For the World title is great. Sorry, we didn't mean to make this a Chris Jericho.
Yeah, we're backing up.
Kiss
no, dude. He deserves it.
If you need someone to come on,
he does.
This is Jericho.
I always love giving flowers out.
Your favorite,
if we can, anytime. So,
yeah,
for sure. So I'm gonna ask the same question about MMA. When you started MMA, was there like a specific person or team that you were like, I want to train with them, and this is why I want to get into MMA?
No, not when I started, but once I got experience into it, and we even worked with them in AEW, was American Top Team. Dan Lambert, Andre Arlovsky, Junior Dos Santos, Steve Mocco. Steve Mocco is one of the head coaches at American Top Team, and Steve Mocco was my college heavyweight wrestling nemesis. I never beat that motherfucker. He is a tough son of a bitch, and so. Well, I tried my hand, believe me. July of 2022, I was still training hard for MMA, and I couldn't get a fight with Bellator, even though I'm wearing their shirt now. I became best friends, like really good friends with Andre, and he invited me down to Top Team. Dan Lambert is a phenomenal guy, great guy. And so I did like 3 days of training.
Awesome. Historian too.
Oh man,
amazing.
Loves pro wrestling. Just a smart guy.
Loves pro wrestling. He's probably got the #2 collection of titles, ring worn titles. Just like phenomenal. Just awesome.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was the question about ring worn titles, or was it about my MMA experience?
Hey, he goes off on his tangents sometimes.
Sorry.
I'm gonna mute his mic. Go ahead.
I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
See, now you've cut him off. He doesn't know what you're saying.
He ruined the story and possibly the evening.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I'm cutting it. Yeah, we're done. I'm out.
Is it my fault? Is it my fault that it's over?
No, that's totally him. See what I have to put up with?
Oh my God, I'm kidding. You're great.
Yeah, I know. We are.
No, I got to go down there and train with them, and it was really cool. And like going into like a facility like American Top Team, you're just kind of expecting a little bit of animosity, especially coming from the entertainment world. And like they accepted me like a teammate. I worked out with them. I did all the drills. And then when we were sparring, it was great. I definitely got punched in the face, but I learned a lot, and there was no animosity whatsoever, like no alpha male type deal. And so you could see that the culture that they bring there, and you could see why they're so successful, is because like they are all about getting better and helping each other get better. So now they're my place that I would want to train with.
Cool. You brought up something about the animosity or anything, and I've always been curious. As those guys coming in from MMA into pro wrestling, did they kind of give you guys like, oh, this is I don't like using the F word, so this is the choreographed sport versus what we do in real life? Or I'm just curious, like, did you get that feeling like versus the MMA locker room and like how they look at pro wrestling? Or
no, not at all. They understood how cool this is. Like pro wrestling is cool these days. You're on live television.
Yes.
It's very fun. Like anything you do in front of a live audience is cool. And like, especially when that live audience is going crazy. And then they understood the magnitude of it, how like we have world-class MMA fighters, Junior Dos Santos, Andre Arlovsky, coming into a pro wrestling ring. If you watch that pay-per-view, Andre Arlovsky gave me the best Superman punch I've ever seen in my life. We're about 50 feet away, and he closed the distance in like 2 seconds. I don't know if it was caught on camera, but it was so fast.
I'm gonna have to watch it again.
It was on the outside, and the whole crowd went crazy. I was like, why did we do that in the ring? I fucked up. But like, no, there was no animosity, nothing but love. I mean, Junior Dos Santos.
I guess animosity might not have been the right word, but, that
like everybody wants to be tough. And like, this is pro wrestling. We're telling stories. It's good versus evil. Like it's vulnerability and it's fucking entertainment. I mean, he let me, rock bottom Uranagi him through a table.
Yep.
Yep.
He's one of my favorite MMA fighters.
Yep. And did he just win a bare knuckle championship as well?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look.
I'm pretty sure he
I stopped watching UFC a while back, but he was one of the ones that I like. Every time he had a fight, I was watching it. Oh, now I'm gonna have to Google it when we're done, and if he did, I'm gonna have to go watch
cool
that
story
film.
about him. So we had like a tag team in Miami, like shortly after that, and he has no pro wrestling experience, none. He comes in day of and trains for about 4 hours, and then goes on and proceeds to have a live wrestling match on television where you can't have a mistake, and nails it.
Right.
Doesn't make one. Go back and watch the match back. It was amazing. Like he did that in
Wow.
4 hours. You know how many? Like it took me 2 years to have a wrestling match. I mean, like
Wow.
on TV.
Right.
You know.
That's awesome. That shows that he was dedicated to what he was doing.
Yeah,
though.
it shows that he
cool.
was committed to it and that he loves it.
It wasn't just like, oh, we got to go do this. That shows that, oh, I really want to go do this. So that's cool. Yeah. That's really cool. All right, Jared, I'll let you speak again. Go ahead. Oh, wait, he's still muted. Hold on, I didn't unmute him. I really did mute him. All right, you should be good to go now. Go.
Before I was just kidding, but is this thing on? Hey, man, thanks for joining us here in the cave. Super awesome. Great chit chat and awesome talk. I can't wait. Chitty chat.
Damn, just
Can't
insult
wait
the
to
guest.
get into some more of the bourbon talk and how we got here and the stories. So, hell yeah, man! Thanks for joining us.
I had a blast, guys. Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll wrap it right there because I just saw it's been about 50 minutes, so I don't want to keep too much of your time. So we will close out with some announcements or anything. If there's anything you'd like to plug or talk about, Jake, before we close out the show.
Yeah, if you guys could subscribe to my OnlyFans page. I do a lot of feet stuff. I do a lot of elbow stuff. I do a lot of fist stuff from the bottom. I would really appreciate it. I got 2 young kids and they really need to go to school. But other than that, follow this podcast. And it's probably a lot better when this guy over here is muted. So
you made him lose
other
it.
than
That's
that,
it. He's done.
Bye, Edie. Love you, girl. See you soon.
I will let her know you gave her a shout out on the show. All right, we want to thank everybody for listening. This is Jake Hager. Follow him at Real Jake Hager on all your socials, I think it is.
www.onlyfans /Jake Hager /
I am not looking that up, but if you want to, go ahead and check it out. If you're into elbow and feet stuff, go check it out. Follow us wherever you get your podcast from, No Shave Man Cave. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like, share, subscribe. We are building our family up and going to try to bring you more stuff like this interview with Jake. We got some big stuff dropping on the 22nd with Thunder Rosa. And
is that what I look like? That's some scary shit right there.
Yeah, man. I had to cover it up because I was afraid I was going to get hit. Yeah, I tapped out. I'm done. And hopefully we can get Jake back here for a 20-second show, maybe talk some mental health and, expand upon some of the things you talked about on this show with, moving forward and how your, life and it throws challenges and how we overcome it. So looking forward to that. With that, like I said, follow us wherever you get No Shave Man Cave, Twitter, all that other good stuff. Hot tag out, man. Take us home.
Yes, sir. Thanks for joining us here. The real Jake Hager. Until next time, can't wait to see you here back in the No Shave Man Cave. J. Tilly, Ellie Jared. Till next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the floor. We the people.